Are you into anniversaries? Do you remember your own when you first met someone or just got married? Well, hopefully those are good anniversaries and they're filled with good memories, but not always, and not all anniversaries. You know, I remember 30 years ago this past February, my mom died, and my dad had a very tough time some months later that year when it was his wedding anniversary, the first one in nearly 40 years he was without her. He was lost, I gotta tell you. He was so alone. His only comfort that anniversary day was a treasured wedding album and some very old movies, some old home movies. Happier times, better times. Times long gone, but not forgotten. Still raw, for him, very, very tough. See, that's the thing about anniversaries. They can jar us back to moments we wish we could have again, and maybe moments we just as soon forget. Like today's, remembering the great stock market crash 30 years ago, recalling all the money lost that day and the real estate crash that would follow that day, and all the lives and careers upended that day. Many of us would rather forget that day. We remember what we lived, if we were old enough to live it. What was going through our heads and our minds in our own lives? You know, I see those images of myself covering that crash 30 years ago. I seem so young, so in the moment. But I also remember so well being so sick. You see, not that this should matter to any of you, but you know another thing I remember about that day? Well, at the time I was going through chemotherapy, trying to work through an advanced stage of Hodgkin's disease. Because I was panicked, I would lose my job if I didn't show up. Now, believe me, I'm not trying to make you feel sorry for me, but if it does halt you from writing a nasty email, so be it. But these images bring all of that back for me, just like they bring my dad back, even though he's gone. Or a world on the financial brink back, even though that talk is gone. That's the thing about anniversaries, good or bad. They force us to go back in time, whether we like what we see or not. Even the painful ones, the ones that remind us of a time we lost a lot of money, like 30 years ago, or something far, far more precious like 9/11. Now, can you believe it, more than 16 years ago. My dad used to say, the bad thing about getting older is realizing you ain't getting any younger. Anniversaries are meant to sort that stuff out. The stuff that matters and you really miss, and the stuff that matters and you don't really miss. And you don't really want to look back, but you have to. The date compels you to. I like to think there is some comfort in that, in looking back at a time which we thought we'd never recover, but we did. And some loved ones we took for granted would always be there, but they're not. Such is time and such is life. Such is the magic of an anniversary that reminds us all of the fragility of both, whether we're looking back at stocks then or just trying to take stock now. Good night.